Hi there, welcome to Saturday Live. And today we're going to talk about, this is kind of part two. Part one was being stillness, and part two here is being light. And stillness and light are two, I think, really important key components of what we're needing right now. So that's where we are. Actually gave a lecture last weekend on potency, ignition, and light for colleagues, and its importance actually on World Mental Health Day when we're working with tendencies to depression. I spend a lot of my time working and talking about anxiety, but the other side of the coin, which I spend an equally amount of time, is working with people who have a tendency to kind of clinical depression. And it's what happens is, and a lot of it is to do with the neurochemistry, the brain chemistry, is how it manifests though is like the lights go out. And what is it when someone's lights are on? When they have this brightness in their eyes, which functions actually as an expression of their immune system working really well. When people are sad, if they are in grief, if they're in depression, also if their immune systems are flat, there is the light in their eyes goes, and we all know that, we all see that. Conversely, when we have joy, when we have bliss, when we fall in love, when we meet people in a certain way, the light comes on and our eyes sparkle. And actually this potency, this ignition that we're dealing with, which is a real physical thing. And I spent a lot of time talking about photons and how the photons are affected in the blood. The blood is very light sensitive, as is the nervous system, and the function of the pineal gland, and certain things like that. These are all very, very important, but I won't talk about them now. That's for another time. But there was, I shared on my Facebook, I never really look at Facebook, but I was looking at it earlier, and there was this incredible video that was put out relatively recently by Amnesty International, and I think the filming was shot in Germany or Poland. And it was about some research that an American psychologist had done, which was to do with how people, if they just sit opposite each other, people who've never met in their lives before, and if they spend 4 minutes just looking, I mean, you've probably seen this video, 4 minutes just looking into the eyes of this person who they've never met before, they form an incredible bond and a connection. And please watch it, because I shared it on my Clonmel Osteopaths Facebook page earlier today. The incredible grace, the incredible acceptance, the seeing the grief and the love that was, and the light that was in people's eyes as soon as they engaged, was incredibly moving. It just seems like that veil between us is so thin, and it seems as soon as people connect just by the simplicity of looking into someone's eyes, that veil goes, and we recognize that we're all one. And I mean, it's incredibly moving. It made me well up. Maybe I had a good week when I watched it. It was an incredible thing. But what we're doing here, and the purpose of this meditation, is to do with engaging with light and meeting the potential within us for light, which is actually not just good for us feeling joy, but it's also good for our immune systems. And so that's why we're doing this. And I think it's very important right now, as we come into autumn, the lights go down as there's a huge amount of stress in the world. We need this capacity for light to be met within us and shared and passing that on. And so that's what we're going to do here. So I know a lot of people tune into this later. And what we'll do is we'll just close our eyes and just bring ourselves into the present moment for a second and allow yourself relax. Kind of almost find a little bit of rest, a little bit of peace, a little bit of quiet in ourselves for a second. And behind all that noise of our brains, our thinking, our process, our lives, there's a quiet. And if we just meet that within us, and in the process of doing that, thoughts, feelings, emotions, processes stir themselves up in our mind, and that's normal, like movements almost. If we just watch those as movements, not engage with them, not think about them, not block them, just allow those movements to happen just by applying a great sense of allowing whatever comes up to be. And by engaging with that deep process of allowing, it allows all of those thoughts, feelings, etc. to breathe, to soften, to transmutate, to quieten. It's normal. Just lets it happen. And they become softer. And they're often replaced by another thought or another body feeling or some sort of emotion. Let it be. Just allow yourself settle with that, into that quiet place. And as you settle, I just want to bring your attentional awareness behind your eyes, to the backs of your eyes. Allow your eyes to relax. We hold so much tension in our eyes, especially if we're reading a lot or working with technologies. That's it, your eyes just quieten down. So there's a variety of ways of switching on the lights, which I spend a lot of, people who know me in practice, I spend a lot of time switching on the lights, switching on ignition, because it's fundamental. We need that in order to become well. It's fundamental. So in that quiet place, which is behind your eyes, I want you to turn your attention, your awareness, your attention to, it's like the thought of light, the idea, the actual idea of light, the potential for it that's always there. Even when you're feeling low or everything is black, there is always this tiny, tiny potential for light, like a mini spark. And even if you can't see a spark, there's the thought of it, the idea of it, the pre-conscious, the precognitive awareness of that. Once you tune into that pre-conscious awareness of light, which is behind your eyes, maybe in the middle of your head, just allow the light which is in the room around you to come through your eyes and meet that potential for light that's in you. So it's like the light from the outside meets the potential for light inside you, inside your head, behind your eyes. And as they meet, it's like the light switches on. There we go. It's like the light bulb wakes up. And so the light on the outside meets the potential for light on the inside, and your lights switch on. And the fascinating thing about that is we often shut out that light. If we're low, if our immune systems are low, it has the same effect. And if we can switch our lights back on, it's fantastic for some of the neurotransmitters of the brain, dopamine, serotonin. These are all really important pathways, and these neurotransmitters are highly sensitive to light. They respond to light. And if we can switch our lights on, we can go a good way to allowing our nervous systems to not to feel held down, but to feel connected and light, which can help our mood. Very simple way of doing that. And so through that, we recognize that we are light. We are made of light. And that light transmutates any heaviness, any darkness, any difficultness. It brings it to the light. It shines the light on things. And so, stillness and light. And within that, this wholeness which unfolds within the oneness. That's where we're aiming, and that's where is necessary right now. So I have a chapter all about potency, ignition, and light in the Stillness Practices online course, which is coming out, I think. They're just finishing off the visuals, I think, maybe Monday. And I'll come back next week and we'll do something else, some other thing. People seem to like it, so I'll do it as long as people like it. The days can vary depending on what we're up to, but anyways, I wish you well. Have a lovely evening, and we will speak soon.